So you think you have your drinking under control. In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 sneaky little triggers that you need to be careful of that can ruin your sobriety. So stick around. I'll go over the triggers. I'll go over what you can do to handle them. So let's get started. Now the first one is stress overload. This one's probably kind of obvious. A lot of us drink out of stress, the stress of life. But I want you to be careful of letting this stress add up over time. Right? It's easy to do. You know, a lot of us just push through stress. We don't allow ourselves the time to process the stress, or our time, or allow ourselves the time to relax, have some alone time. And quite honestly, a lot of us don't have that luxury. We don't have that free time. Now, this stress could come in many forms. You know, everyone's different, everyone has different lives. And it could be weeks adding up to this trigger. And what I mean by that is, think about your lifestyle. You know, are you getting up early, getting ready for work, then you have to commute a few hours to get to work, stuck in traffic? You know, the stress of just getting to work alone would drive you to drink. People cutting you off, merging, throwing special hand signals your way. And by the time you get to work, you're already stressed out. And maybe you're going to a job you don't even want to be at anyway. And, you know, once you're at work, already stressed out, you kind of set yourself up for failure. You know, you're doing work you don't want to do, maybe dealing with coworkers or upper management that you don't like, and it just adds to that. So you're there 8, 10, maybe 12 hours. Then you got to drive back home. And you're dealing with the same idiots that you dealt with this morning. And it's no wonder that people want to settle down or decompress or relax with a drink when they get home. A lot of times you're coming home to your family, your kids. You just want to come home and relax, and you can't because you have a family. You have kids to deal with. Maybe they're acting up. So it's so easy to let this stress build up over time. You know, imagine having that day for weeks, months, years at a time. It's going to wear on you. So it's important to take time for yourself. Find something that you enjoy that can help you decompress from that stress. You know, maybe before you get home, you stop by a park and go for a walk. Maybe you just sit on the park bench, observe nature, the animals, maybe just people walking by. Maybe that can help. Maybe you go straight to the gym, let off some frustration by lifting some weights, doing some cardio, hitting the punching bag. There's a lot of ways that you can relieve your stress without reaching for a drink. It's easy to do. You probably see plenty of liquor stores on your way home. But what is that doing to you in the long run? Another hidden little trigger is social nostalgia. This one I struggled with a lot. You get back into environments where you were known for drinking, the people you're around are drinking, and naturally you see them having fun, and you remember the good times that you had hanging out with them, drinking with the boys, partying, and your mind forgets about what happens after. The next day, the next few days, when you're not feeling well and just super depressed because you drink again. I remember one specific time where I was about 3 months sober, and I hadn't really been hanging out with anyone because I knew that I wasn't in a place yet where I could be in those situations and not be tempted to drink. So some friends invited me over to watch football for the day. It was about midday, and you know, I was conscious of like, am I in this space where I can handle this environment and not be tempted to drink? And I kind of went back and forth, but I honestly thought, yeah, I'm good. It's been 3 months. I was pretty confident going into this situation. I told my wife, babe, I'm gonna go hang out with the boys. You know, I'll be back a little later. We're just gonna watch some football and stuff. And that was my intention. You know, I get there and, you know, same crew that I always hang out with. And it was fine for the first few hours. You know, they were doing their thing. You know, it wasn't getting too wild yet. You know, we're kind of catching up because I haven't seen them in a while. And, you know, as the day progresses, people, you know, the alcohol eventually is going to catch up with you. And, you know, it started kind of getting to the point where it was like, man, maybe I need to take off. This is getting kind of slippery. You know, it's getting kind of sloppy. This is probably my time to go. But I had this little voice in my head. It's like, well, but you know, you're having a good time. You're not drinking. You know, it's not that bad yet. Maybe just hang out for a little bit longer. Big mistake. I could have left at, you know, 6, 7, I don't know, maybe it was 8 o'clock. Well, stay a little bit too long, end up having a drink, and I don't know. It just was all downhill from there. I don't even know what time I got home, to be honest. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. And obviously the next day, the next few days, even the next week was terrible. And I had the opportunity to leave when I should have, and I didn't. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, like mentally and physically. I was actually kind of shaken up about that. Not only because I slipped up and drank, but because I honestly thought I could handle it, and I was so close, and I blew it. So be careful, you know? Make sure you're really ready and like set a hard curfew on yourself, okay? Because if you just go in it, kind of winging it like I did, you're honestly setting yourself up for failure. Now, another trigger that you got to be careful of is the tendency to reward yourself for the good work you're doing. You know, in society, we're always kind of reaching for a drink, right? Oh man, I did really good at work today. I did really good on the sales presentation. Let's celebrate with a drink. Or, awful day, awful week. I might get fired. I need a drink. And when you're doing really good, it's easy to be like, you know what? I deserve a drink. I've went 3 months. I'm just gonna have one. And if you're like me, it's never just one. But be careful, because it's easy to go back into old habits when you have that sort of mindset. You know, totally celebrate your progress. Absolutely. Celebrate that every day. But don't celebrate it with a drink. Celebrate it in another way. What else are you into? Maybe you like to shop. Go buy something for yourself. Go take yourself out to a nice dinner. I love sushi. Sometimes I'd go have some sushi by myself. It's okay to celebrate, but just don't do it with alcohol. I know it's tempting, of course. You're like, ooh, I haven't had a nice cold beer in so long, or whatever your drink is. I'm just gonna have one. And your mind might start telling you, yeah, just have one. Show yourself you could do it. Show yourself you could just have one, enjoy it, and then be done. We all know it's not always the case. It's a slippery slope, and I knew I would slip every time and just keep on sliding. So be careful. Be careful how you celebrate. Pick some other way to reward yourself for the progress that you've made. Another sneaky little trigger is the boredom trap. This is a huge one for everyone, right? You're bored, you have nothing to do, you know, it's the weekend, your friends are out of town. You know what? I'm just gonna have a few drinks, watch the game. And there you are, drinking again. So find something else to occupy your mind and occupy your time instead of drinking. Like, if you're bored, sitting on the couch, sitting at home, watching TV, I know your mind tells you, if you drink, this will be more exciting. And it is, you know, maybe for the first few drinks. And then you can't stop. And then you're just full of regrets the next day. So if you're bored, do anything except drink. Call someone. Call a friend, call your mom, call your dad, and just have a conversation. It doesn't necessarily have to be about, you know, your craving for alcohol. You could be talking about anything. Anything to get your mind off of A, being bored, and B, drinking because you're bored. Anything. The last one is the late night blues. And these are quite common, especially in the beginning of your sobriety journey, because, you know, when you quit drinking, you're gonna kind of have some withdrawals, especially at night. You know, your mind starts racing, and you usually use alcohol to calm yourself down. Now you don't have that, and you got to fight through that. You know, you're up all night, can't shut your mind off, can't sleep, you're restless, and it's, you know, it's so easy to go have a drink, have a few drinks to calm your nerves, calm your mind, put you to sleep, pass out, whatever the case may be. But don't do that. You might fall asleep quick, but you're not going to sleep that well, and you're gonna regret it in the morning. You know it, I know it. It's not worth it. So, guys, these triggers, they can come out of nowhere and they can surprise you. As a sobriety coach, I help clients identify their triggers, and I help them build specific custom plans on how to handle them. I'll leave a link in the description, book a free call, and let's work on your plan together. If you're new here, thanks for checking out my channel. Hit the subscribe button so you can be updated for all my latest content. If you're here again, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one.